Hello, hello, hello. Howdy and welcome to Pinky's Powerhouse Productions podcast. My name is Tanya, aka Pinky. When life kicks you in the gut and slaps you in the face, how do you get back up? What motivates you or inspires you to find the passion and energy to fight and be heard? Taking back your life and then showing others how to inspire and to reclaim their powers. Let's dive in. Okay, this week's guest we have Hi Rodriguez from, and all I can say is it's easier to say Queer Eye from the Straight Guy, but also I want to say now Cowboy, the movie, and obviously I've been acting in so much more. But you've done so much for us. Hold on, I didn't get to play the song for you, but let's get jam out for a second. You ready? The old style rock and roll gets you ready because then you want to dance, shake your ass. Okay, so I'm just just want to say right here, we want to say thank you. Hi, Rodriguez. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Oh my God. You know, it's so funny. It's pronounced J, but spelled high. So I get it. I answer to anything, including hey, you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So thank you very
That's
much
okay.
for again. I
Listen, imagine me going to
Jay
Starbucks.
Z
They're
too.
like, Jai.
Well, honestly, too, I want to think is like you're South Pacific. I mean, I'd say you have more than just Hispanic roots, right? I mean, that's what.
No, I have a really funny story if you want me to share about how my name came to be.
Yes.
My growing up, I wanted to join the Actors Union when I was like the Stage Actors Union when I was 16. My legal name is David Jay Rodriguez, but David was taken, Jay was taken, DJ was taken. So I ran out of options and someone misspelled my middle name wrong once. And I asked, could I go by Jai Rodriguez? They said that name is available because you couldn't double up on names. So I've been J Rodriguez with an I since 1996, since I turned 16.
Wow. So you knew at a young age what you wanted to do and how you
I
knew you
thought
could
I
impact
did. I
people.
didn't know how I would do it. Like I think I knew that I didn't know how I'd make money. I knew that there was Broadway, which I was in a performing arts high school. I thought that might be a path. I just certainly didn't see a whole lot of roles for me. But the one I saw ended up being the one I played because it was like, oh my God, there's a Latin character and it's a lead. Because people oftentimes would be like, "Oh, West Side Story," and they're at the time they kind of called it colorblind casting when a cast would feature a multi-ethnic cast, and it was kind of a little bit of everything. And that was Rent for me. And I got really lucky that I just happened to be visually perfect, and my voice and everything fit the role. But yeah, that's I kind of knew. But it wasn't until I was working when I was 18, I got my first Broadway show. I'm like, oh, wait, this is like I can actually make a career. I don't always think that way, even in the midst of it, because as an actor or any kind of entertainment person, you
Yeah, there are
rarely
five
have
jobs.
steady work. Yeah, you're just always bouncing from job to job, and you never really know who sees what.
So you were
Like,
actually in Rent because I went through three copies of
yeah,
that. I could sing you the whole production. We're not
yeah, I
going to pay
played
rent,
Angel.
so
Yeah,
that was
1997. I got
impacting me.
cast.
And
Yeah,
I have an autograph thingy of the big thing of everybody on it. Like Rent is my thing.
I
So
wonder if my name is on it.
oh, I can go get the poster and grab it. I don't know
That's
because
funny.
it
You'll
has
have to
everybody
look
signed
later.
it. So you were
Yeah.
actually in it.
Yeah, we all used to sign them and we used to sell them for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS and fundraise the money. And also a portion of that went to the Susan B. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation as well. And so we would sign stacks, like hundreds of them. Um, okay, so I usually signed, go up a little bit. I usually signed by the angel character. Go toward the bottom. So I go up a little bit with let me lean in. Keep going. Come toward camera. Come toward camera. A little closer to the lens. Is that me? Hard to
I don't
say.
know.
I think you might have the original cast because I usually used to sign right by Angel, but maybe not this time. Who knows?
I was just surprised when I could find it because somebody I know it's a big one that you can open up.
That's a
So
good
I'm just
vintage one
saying,
too.
Rent is my jam, and I'm just like, oh my
I
god.
love it. Yeah, I mean, could you imagine 18 years old, you get that show, you're moving out of the house. I've never kissed a boy, and I'm kissing one nightly. My first Collins was straight. So really, it was such a weird time because in the 90s there wasn't a lot of queer representation. I think we had Queer as Folk and L Word if you were lucky enough to have cable. Um, and so there wasn't a lot, but in 8 shows a week, I was playing a drag queen, someone very comfortable in their skin. And I hadn't been really, I hadn't lived authentically yet for a while. Like I was just a couple months out of the closet. And so the cast members became such a family and took me under their wing and helped me kind of feel secure in
Come into your
who
own.
I am. Yeah.
So right after you're 18, then so you decided after the
I
theater
turned
because
18 in June, and then my first day of rehearsal was October 20th,
the
1997. I'll never
summer.
forget it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because really arts are the arts and drama departments are the biggest things that are being cut in high schools now, when I feel that's really kind of, you're cutting at your LGBTQ people right to the heart, because that's where they go to be safe, to find a space to even sing and have their own voices heard. So
Yeah,
I mean,
express themselves, all the things that after
that's so
many
amazing.
kids feel like they need to suppress themselves, they can go to the drama department and find their voice, metaphorically or literally.
Are we gonna
And
make it more comfortable just to put on a play out in the park and start singing in the
yeah.
mob sections,
Hmm.
going, "Well, we're not gonna pay rent." No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so starting off with, um, so at 18, were you going to a school basically what, like kind of like Fame, or for the performing arts?
Yeah, it was the Long Island version. It wasn't New York City. It was just, maybe 90 minutes away from the city. And they had like a program that was part of the vocational school system. So there was a school system for people who wanted to take a vocation in junior and senior year instead of doing all the other classes. So if you want to be a carpenter, if you wanted to be a hairstylist, a photographer, you could do that half day so long as you met your minimum requirements at your public school. So there was a separate building, a separate facility that was the same structure except for performing arts. And you had to get permission from your district or your home district that would pay your tuition for you to attend. And you also had to audition at the school. And if you got in and your school paid, then you could go. And I got in, my school paid for 2 years. And really, if I think about it, we had to take everything from like, voice, dance, and acting, of course, but theater history, like um, so many of the other things that kind of prepare you to be a working actor. And our teachers were all professional working individuals, like that. Many of them would leave and go do a TV show or leave and do a Broadway, night or something. And they all
Tenure.
knew what it took to make it. They were not like the English teacher who just has a passion for theater. They understood the underbelly, the business side of it. So we really were working with people that possibly could be our colleagues in the future. And that was really, I think, what separated us from other schools maybe. But I don't know. I've never been to the Fame school, but I think it's similar. And so, yeah, so I went half day and half day to my regular, district school. And it was such an incredible time because I at my district, my normal high school, when I do the plays, I never got notes. No one gave me direction. They were like, "Oh, you're the best one, so we'll just leave you alone and work on the kids who are struggling." And in my performing arts high school, the first time I did a performance, I was expecting thunderous applause and for them to just shower me with praise. So imagine my shock when they had critiques, like the teachers had notes for me, and I was like, but that's part of my industry. You're constantly getting notes, and your ability to take direction is part of the job. And so it was really good to not be cradled like a baby, but instead to be treated like a working professional from jump.
So how long were you on those? How long were you at that? Obviously, the grind from 18 on, and then really it wasn't until like you're recently late 20s, early 30s. That's when you got a Queer Eye, or
No.
what
So
was your first?
5 years in Rent, and I would leave and come back during Rent and do small projects, like a week on a soap opera.
Was this traveling or was this the movie?
So when I would do Rent, they hired me in New York to open the first international company in Canada. So I did a year in Canada, then I came to Broadway, and I did the show on Broadway for 4 years. At the end of that time, I was 26. I booked an off-Broadway play. I took a 6-month leave of absence from Rent with the intent to come back to Rent to do an off-Broadway, because there's a huge salary difference. Broadway, you have a livable wage. Off-Broadway, you need to figure out some other work. which I did.
You're doing it
But
for the purpose of being seen, and it's a great
and
piece,
to get on the
obviously.
cast album of a new show, to possibly receive awards, which might elevate your career.
Connections.
Yeah, so I did that. It was a musical called Zanna Don't, and I played the title character Zanna. And the story of that musical was basically living in a high school students living in a universe that was more magical, where everyone was queer and being straight was weird and frowned upon. And we did a very provocative play, the students in this play, about whether or not heterosexuals should be allowed in the military. Ooh. And so in the process of doing this play, um, the lead guy and girl fall in love, which is frowned upon. And my character was this matchmaking fairy that helped people fall in love as a high school student. And I used my powers to make it acceptable for them to go to prom. And then I go to prom, and my powers had a side effect that I could lose my powers. Well, I turned everybody straight by accident, and I was the only sparkly gay left. And they turn on me, I sing my 11 o'clock number, and then they realize how much they love me and they accept me. So it's been done all over the world, so I loved it. But during that time, like I said, I needed to get other work. So I told my agents at the time, and they submitted me for this project, which was, it didn't have a title yet. And they were like, they have an audition for you to be a nightlife expert on this new show on Bravo. Now, mind you, Bravo did not have Housewives, nothing. It didn't have Project Runway yet, nothing. It was a little teeny tiny cable station. And I'll be honest,
It was just an idea.
Yeah, I thought a little extra money if I get this. I remember going in, and I was like, not asked a whole lot of serious questions. I was asked to verbally take this casting woman on a date, a New York City date that would be unique, as if I was a 35-year-old divorced dad living on Long Island. How would I wow her? How would I tell this, And I gave her this great answer, because as a theater performer, you always have tourists asking you of like, what's the non-tourist thing to do? What's unique? So she loved that. And she's like, how old are you? I said, 23. She goes, you're 26. I said, oh. She goes, where'd you go to college? I was like, well, I tried, but then I got rent. She goes, you graduated. Just give the board the same answers tomorrow. I go in for the board of NBC and Bravo, all the execs, the creator of this new show and the director of it. And I gave them the same answers, but they had two guys sitting on either side of me who seemed like they were just like being rude, was my takeaway. But what I realized later, and what I was told later, is I was there for a chemistry test with Carson and Ted, who were already on the show, and they were checking to see if I could hold my own comedically. So they were taking jabs at me, but no, I'd never done a chemistry test before. I didn't understand what it was. I felt like they were upstaging me, talking over me, trying to be comedically rude.
They're flamboyant gays. I mean, honestly, hello.
And I thought, I'm not going to book this, but I'll be funny because NBC does sitcoms, and maybe they'll remember me for something in the future. I left defeated, went to the theater for the Zanna Don't musical. I'm putting on my makeup for the show. And my agent called and said, well, guess you didn't do that bad. You start on Monday. And that was Queer Eye. And that changed sort of the course of my, but I really, even in the first meeting of Queer Eye, I didn't know what the show was about. They were figuring it out, it wasn't on the air yet. And so nothing like it had existed. So as we all figured it out together, even at the wrap party after 10 episodes, we said goodbye to each other as if we'd never see each other. The thought of a second season, I don't think crossed all of our minds. And so we're like, it was so great meeting you. And so then 2 weeks later, when the show exploded, we were like, oh my gosh, and our lives changed.
Straight guys need help. I mean, gay guys are involved.
And so we were like instant gay queer superheroes for a small moment of history.
Well, that had to feel good, though, especially with all y'all, because at first we finally had some role models to look up at, to have faces with, and whether it didn't matter.
I wish I know that now. I think at the time when you're in it, pre-social media, you only have what people tell you that you see, and possibly tabloids. So it was tricky.
Was it like 5 seasons at least?
Yeah, we did 100 episodes that we shot over. Yeah, so we did 100 episodes over 3 years with almost no breaks, not very long breaks, which is different than the new cast, which, they did 10 seasons over the course of almost 10 years, or something like that over the course of 8 years. I can't remember how many years they've been working on theirs, but they had big breaks where they wouldn't see each other for a year. We didn't have that. So for us, we did 100 episodes. We finished. They chopped some of the seasons up, and you guys saw 5 seasons. But the thing I remember most was just like that our cast felt like a brotherhood. I didn't grow up with siblings.
Family, I'm sure. It's like
Yeah.
you're getting close
And just
together,
helping people out, like bridging the gap at the time between gay and straight, and you know,
knowing each other's strengths and being able to work with each other and
mhm,
know what that is and
yeah,
use it.
yeah.
So then from there, so what happened after Queer
So
Eye?
then
What
I
what is
so
the
then I
place?
do Queer Eye, 100 episodes. We win an Emmy, which is like right behind me over here. There's the big
Ah,
award.
right on.
Um, yeah, we do all the things, and then I don't know what's next because the show's over, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, do I go back to Broadway? Do I try to like get back into
I would
acting?
say you
Like,
do
is that
both.
yeah? And so I remember coming to LA to do a singing show on Fox that was like Dancing with the Stars, but singing. So think American Idol band, three judges, and all celebrities. And each week, the celebrities would get a different musical superstar to duet with, and it was called Celebrity Duets. And America voted. And so it felt like being on American Idol. And so I
You
moved
should
to
be on the
LA.
Best
Well,
Singer then.
yeah, I try. I try every year. But they had me come do the show. I lived in a hotel. I didn't have a driver's license because I lived in New York City. So I'd walk everywhere in LA, and I liked it. And I still have my apartment, but I had nothing really to go back to. So after 2 months here doing the show, I hired a moving company in New York to go in my apartment and drive it cross country, like package it up and drive all my furniture and everything cross country. And then I started a life here, and it was really, I'll be honest, not easy at first. No one wanted to see a reality star acting. No casting people would see me for jobs. Didn't matter that I did Rent. Didn't matter that I'd done soaps. Didn't matter that I'd done movies. Didn't matter. Queer Eye erased it all to them. And so I remember taking Queer Eye off my resume. When I did Rent, I could not have a beard. I was playing a drag queen. When I did Queer Eye, I could not have a beard because they govern your aesthetic. If you wanted to get a haircut or change your aesthetic at all, you had to have permission from the network. And so 8 years of not having body autonomy, not being able to make choices. I grew a beard, I got tattoos, did all the things that normal people do when they're out of the house. And so here I am, 27, trying to make my way in Los Angeles, trying to figure it out. I booked a couple hosting shows, like a travel show after that singing show. But really, I'll be honest, it was really dark times. I was figuring out, what do I do next? I don't know. And so I got a manager whose big thing was taking Broadway people and transitioning them into TV and film. So he took me on, and I remember one of the first auditions I went on was like for Nip Tuck, which was a Ryan Murphy who does American
FX.
Horror
Yes.
on FX, and I booked it. And that changed everything. Suddenly, with that one credit, people were like, maybe we should take a look at him. Maybe we should audition
But
him.
you were, what is it? It was a context, and just because of Queer Eye, so they didn't think they could see you in another role. But you showed
Exactly. And so when
singing.
I showed up differently, when I showed up as a fully realized man, I think it changed. And then from there, I just started building my resume, booking a bunch of different guest stars, doing a lot of independent movies, became the first guy from reality to become a series regular on a network show with a sitcom I did that was called Malibu Country, which starred Reba, Lily Tomlin, this girl named Sarah Rue, myself, and kind of broke that curse. But I think even importantly, it broke that curse for me. Yes, I did it publicly, and yes, it opened the door for other people, but I was just happy that that little voice in my head that said, they're never going to hire you. It doesn't matter how good you
You got to
are.
shut them up.
Yeah. And I'm glad that I got to prove myself wrong while also proving the haters, not we're not haters, but it just hadn't been done. And at that time, they were like, everyone was told to stay in their lane. Musicians would not have a product line. Actors would not be hosting a TV show.
How many
Film
actors now
actors,
have their own
yeah,
alcohol, their own
yeah,
distilleries?
like, but
Like
even think about it
everybody's
now,
got a
like,
side hustle.
yeah, Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman would never have done acting on TV. They're movie stars, and now everything's changed. So, because we're consuming media differently now, and so everyone's doing everything, and so I'm glad to have had that time. And so now, yeah, like I have two movies coming out in June. One called Stop That Train, starring RuPaul, and another one called 40 Dates and 40 Nights, which is a rom com. I'm a lead in that one. And so it's been a blessing, but it's always a hustle. Like this weekend, I'm going to Detroit Pride, to Motor City Pride, and I'm performing 45-minute set of fun classic pop music. And then the weekend after that, I'm in Cathedral City, which is near Palm Springs, and I'm doing my yacht rock show, which is my new kind of cabaret show. It has like more like 80s music in it. And so you really never know. And then on my final week of Pride Month, I'm doing a play in Los Angeles. So you just kind of really hard to say. And then I'm actually shooting a movie, which I can't say which one yet, but I have one day on a movie. It's a short film, but it's a very well-known video game. I can say that. Very well-known video game, and they're doing a short film, like, you know, inspired by the video game, and it's a character that Pinky, no one has seen me play before. No
Oh, right
one.
on. See,
Like a military
so many
person
good things coming for you. This is
who's
amazing.
very
Okay,
tough.
so
Yeah.
you never gave up, even when, unfortunately, we always have our own doubts about ourselves. But that's when you have to quiet it within yourself and be like, I can do this. And then
Yeah.
helping people. And along the way, obviously, not only have you been a role model and opened the door, but also going back a little bit, I want to bring up about COVID. With COVID, when we couldn't go see anybody, you kept me going through because you had an everyday live. I tried to, and then you'd have giveaway
So
things, and
fun.
everybody would ask
Yeah. Oh,
questions,
I loved it. Like
and
that.
you got so many people. You had thousands of people that were just contributing, just to to speak out to real people because we
Yeah,
couldn't
that's the
really go anywhere.
thing. Like we were also isolated. I didn't have a way to work from home, but I had a way to spread joy from home. And so I would change like my bedroom or my kitchen. I would do colored lights and
Do
fog machines. I would
backgrounds.
do trivia, makeup Mondays, musical Mondays. I do cabaret shows. You know, sometimes I'd just get on and talk, but it was like a community was formed.
What
There's
made you
actually
want to do
people that
that?
became best friends. Actually, two people that were on the live, a woman named Jennifer and a guy named Dominic are coming to see me in Motor City in Detroit this weekend, and they met in the chat, you know. So and now they're really tight friends. So you really
Oh,
never
that's
know.
sweet. Well, see, I just remember also too when you did the same thing. You're going to Motor City. I remember meeting you in San Diego Pride and taking our pictures together because I was volunteering and
Yeah,
for San Diego Pride. How amazing you were and kept the crowd going and introducing people. And it was to meet a role model in person, just like I met you at Palm Springs Rodeo once again because you're in Cowboy the movie.
yeah.
Took my breath away.
By the way, it was really fantastic. I met you first at the welcome sort of two-stepping party, and then I got to
Yes.
see you in action.
Yeah. Oh,
And it
you saw
was,
me in the dirt. Yep. Yep.
yeah, I saw you riding. I mean, it was so fun and exhilarating to just to kind of be in that space. And I obviously, as someone who knew that we'd be going to into like an actual rodeo, but never having been to one myself, like it was inspiring to see people who happen to be queer and also have a passion for things in anything rodeo. And I'd never been in a space like that. I mean, maybe like a two-stepping bar that was a queer bar, but never really like ever seen
So you
people
should be
who.
amazed how many queer cowboys and cowgirls have horses and want to get together. That's why, like in Colorado, they do a lot of gymkhanas. It's in
Mhm.
different areas because Arizona's hot. I used to go to Phoenix once a week for horse practice, so I can practice and maintain participating in flag race. But the horse is so
Mhm.
fast. I'm not that experienced. I still need more practice. I mean, it
Perfect.
takes years, really. So
Right.
I
Well,
can
it
only at
looked
least I'm
like a
trying.
great time. I mean, I just loved it. I thought everything about it was fun. I mean, just the joy that people like, it's contagious when you're around it there. I mean, I also like when I told people here in LA about it, they're like, "What? We need to go next year." Like everyone was really like, "I've never
We're
heard of
trying to
that."
bring back LA Association because there it's sorely significantly missed. Just like San
Yeah.
Diego, we're working on. I'm Miss San Diego Gay Rodeo, and I'm
Yes.
working on. Yes, see, my hair is pink too, and
Love it.
we're working on our last $5,000 so we can bring the rodeo and put it a bid in and bring the gay rodeo back to
Do you
San
have
Diego.
like a link in your bio where people can
Yes, I
donate?
have it on Instagram and I have it on Facebook, but I can receive
Perfect.
it.
Yeah,
Basically, we're
I'll make
saying
sure to
donate
share
through
that.
Venmo to the San Diego Gay Rodeo at San
Yeah.
Diego Gay Rodeo, and
I think that'd
it's
be fantastic because especially like some people who even when it was here didn't know, maybe it didn't they were
because
not
the
told.
next one is San Francisco, and I guarantee you, San Francisco they're in September, and they have the best crowd I've ever performed in front of. That people are there
Wow.
to really watch, and you're like only 20 minutes from the beach, like you're 20 minutes from the end to a coast, which is just it's a beautiful. You're out. You're not in San Francisco. You're out in the country.
Yeah.
So I'm just
That's
saying you should put that
amazing.
on your list. It's beautiful out there. And
Yeah.
then usually, it's a small rodeo, so we don't start until noon, but we get done at 5. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
but it's the greatest crowds. So
Love
anyway,
that.
just I would recommend IGRA.com. You can also check out the schedules because there are rodeos and different things. Like even Minnesota's coming up with a rodeo. They're doing a tubing down the river with everybody, like for a
Wow.
meet and greet on Fridays to get people. We're trying to outstep, not just it has to be country and western, but it's about community. What's going to bring you together,
Yeah.
and that's what it is for rodeos. Rodeos, you end up becoming family because you can't wait to the next rodeo to see their smiling faces. I mean, we've lost people along the way this year, but all I can do is hopefully that we're living in their honor because they came before us, and show them we're taking what they've given us and what we've learned, and hopefully we're trying to make more people interested, so more people want to come out and try. Because
I
calf
love it.
roping on foot's the easiest thing. I could teach you how to calf rope on foot.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not worried. I'm not mad. I'm
It's
like,
just all
I
hey girl, hey in the wrist, man.
love
So
it.
okay, but in between, you never you didn't end up going to college or anything, right? You just learned on the streets of
No.
life.
Yeah, I think it was just not in the cards for me. Like, I think
Well,
you
college, I
know,
think, is just an expensive way to let's go out and be an excuse to go out and
well,
be
it's hard
rude
to
and
like, because
drunk,
if I
and it's
wanted to go
not.
to college, I would be going to perform, and I was performing during my college years. So then, even post queer, I guess there was a moment where I was like, do I just go back to college? But then I didn't even know. I think some of the things too were queer. I kind of opened my mind to what might be possible for a career for me, and I wanted to pursue that. I didn't like being told that I couldn't do certain things, and I wanted to move forward with those things that people said that's not going to be for you. I think that really was.
It puts the fire in your belly to say,
It
eat my dust.
does. Yeah, for
So,
sure.
and I know you've already mentioned a lot of things what you're doing. So you really are going to be hopefully collectively busy and just going to get bigger
I'm
and better
hoping.
along
I'm
the way.
piecemealing. A lot of these are like smaller gigs. I mean, but I'm also like auditioning. Like I just auditioned today for a project, a TV series that has not yet hit television, but it's a remake of a very popular show. I can't say which one. They don't let us. But
Is
that's
it a
fun. I
game
mean, we
show?
also. It's not a gay show. It wasn't even a gay character for me today. In fact, I had to flirt with a lady. Um, but it wasn't but interestingly enough, going back to this movie that I'm doing based on the video game, the role, I remember I read what it was about, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And I remember I just because we have to self-tape, we have to, record ourselves doing the part
You
at
probably had to
home.
do it 12 times and thought that you already
Yeah.
did it.
And so then I did it at home, and I was uploading it, and I watched it, and I was like, honestly, kind of good, but whatever. They're not going to hire me. And then when I booked it, I was like, of course I'd book this one, like the butchest, straightest, whatever. But also I look at the work, and I think the work was good. I felt that I did this movie called Bros, and I played this sort of straight divorced gamer guy who was living on his brother's couch, and it was a Judd Apatow who produced a movie, who does all the big comedies. And I just thought, when I sent in the audition, I was like, they're not going to hire me, but this is the way it should have been
You're a
done.
handsome face.
I was like, I stand by that audition. And so I remember when I booked that, I just like my agents called me when I booked it, and I pulled over and I cried, because I was like, you really have to let this mentality go that people don't see you and what you're capable of in terms of like anything outside of being gay. Like I'm going to be 47 in a couple weeks. I'm not really going to be up to play the 27-year-old gay bestie of a 25-year-old girl anymore. And I don't want to play those roles anymore. I've done enough of them. So, the meat and potatoes, as people get older, generally you get to have better, juicier parts. And so it's not shocking to me, I guess, now that, a lot of time has passed, and if a casting director might not even have seen my version of Queer Eye because maybe they're 27 and the show aired
Yeah.
23 years ago, they would have been 4. So, and it's like, all they see when you submit is all my scripted work. So they're looking at that, and they might not even put 2 and 2 together. Like tomorrow I'm going for my wardrobe fitting for this movie. And I'm curious if anyone there will know. Usually at the fitting, someone's going to be like, loved you on Queer Eye, but not always. And then sometimes people will discover it and they're like, you were on Queer Eye? Like, it's really funny.
because it's
especially.
because of the gaps, right? Because the generation
Yeah,
gaps.
it's just like it's so long
Oh,
ago, and they're
so
like, especially if you're playing something that doesn't remind them of Queer Eye, then they're like,
you're still well. See, I remember you for more things than just Queer Eye. It's just Queer Eye is the easiest thing to remember. I mean,
yeah, for
uh,
sure.
so being gay and trying to be out there. My middle name is gay, so I try to be colorful everywhere I go. Hence my
Right.
backdrop with because if I was a femme, then that would be me. I'd be dating myself. Like you know what I
There you
mean? So,
go.
anyway, so what can you tell us going away, taken away today for a nerd that hasn't had the voice to speak up for themselves yet and to do to what would you say? I mean, not something that you would say, but also sometimes it's your actions, not just taking the characters and what you want to do in the future. But what are your aspirations? Because normally I would be like out volunteering a lot because always giving back to my community, volunteering for Pride or the San Diego LGBT Center or volunteer with Shelly. I try to mix myself around because no matter what, you're still networking and making, people that work for big corporations. You never know what it's going to do. But I have
Yeah,
more time than money to give back to especially empowered to
I
see the
get that.
community I want to be. What
Yeah,
would
I think
you?
that I feel the same way. I mean, I think it's great to have done big projects, but I'm certainly, not a rich guy at all. I live in a little rental apartment in West Hollywood, and I live very humbly, and I think what I agree with that. I don't have like a whole lot of money to give, but I have my time, I have my voice, and I have my platform. And so what I do is partner with a lot of nonprofits, um, and I work to help them not just by I don't do the whole, oh, I walked on your red carpet and posted it to Instagram, hope that helps. I mean, really get in the trenches and actually help them.
Learn
There's a
more
lot
about
of charities that I partner with a lot. One is called Radiant Health, which just celebrated, I want to say, 30 years of existence, and they help support folks who are living with and impacted by HIV for the past 30 years in the OC in Orange County, in SoCal. And so I just have a new partnership with them where I'll be helping them do more focused media things, making a lot of their social media, doing events for them, helping with the fundraising on stage. And then there's also this other, the Latin Equality Alliance called Leah, and they have a scholarship program for queer kids, to send them off to school. So I just went to the ceremony and gave the motivational speech for that. But I'll also be partnering with a summer program, like a creative writing program with some of the students that are still in the program there this summer. I work with Project Angel Food, not just preparing the food, but also sometimes delivering the food. Because I will tell you something, I have a friend who's sober, and he says that part of his sobriety journey is to get out of self. And so when he's feeling down or bad about himself, the instant remedy for him is to aggressively then help others, meaning like, I'm going to go volunteer. I'm going to go volunteer. I'm going to help someone else and try to spread. He's like, and 10 times out of 10, I come back feeling better and more grateful for what I have, who I am. And I agree with that. I think that's, if I'm always, there's always going to be at least two or three things that I'm going to be doing volunteer wise in any month, for sure, at least. And specific to the communities that I represent, queer, Latin, all the things. And I think now more than ever, especially when there's so many rights that are being stripped away, it can feel
especially with this
scary and
climate.
isolating. And queer spaces, whether it's the rodeo or like this month, Pride Month, it's a chance for us to come together as a community and recharge our battery, because with everything going on in the world, you can feel so depleted, because that's their
Give us
goal.
power to face the day.
Yeah, I mean, the opposition's goal is to suck your joy out of you, like to literally
Succubus.
deplete, yeah, to literally to make you feel shame and not pride. And so our greatest act of rebellion is to continue to have this sense of community, to continue to spread our queer joy and live fully to the best of our ability. And I think, there's no better place to do that than when we're in community with one another. And I think the rodeo was a great example of that.
Well, I hope that you now feel that you're a part of it because for you and Jacob and is it Christina?
Stephanie.
Stephanie, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Stephanie
Very
Martinez,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, and from
Yeah.
Cowboy the movie, like okay, just to make an impact. I mean, I was going to ask you the same things like I asked Jacob, basically, because he's writing. They said he's writing a rom com now. So if you wanted to find a good role for yourself, have you thought about writing your own role?
I love that you said this. I was just at Outfest, which is like a queer film festival, and they um they were doing a fundraiser for upcoming events, and I met a producer that is now a higher up at a big production company, and they met with me last week, and they were saying, I think it's time for
For
you
you
to
to write
write
your own role.
your
See,
own thing. And I think I tell you what, so many of the people, whether it's Kristen Wiig who wrote Bridesmaids and was like, I've written for SNL, but I've never written a movie. I think she said she got the screenwriting for dummies book and learned that way and just put something on the page and got a collaborator. And but I think at this age in life experience, I do have a story to tell. I think pinpointing what it'll be. I mean, I don't want to be one of those people who's like, well, if he could do it, I could do it, but kinda, why not me? I've been
you
working
do
in
it
the
in your
space
way.
for 29 years. So I've learned a thing or two. And I think, yes, I feel like deep gratitude for all I've done, but I am not done yet. There's so much I still want to do. And I think that is the biggie for me, is like to do an original project that I created myself. And actually
I
I was
just want
talking
to
to
be one of your extras.
Yes, I talked to Jacob, and he was like, "Let me know if you need help. I'll help you." Jacob, by the way, for those listening, is the writer of the Cowboy movie and also one of the stars.
So he was May's guest for the podcast. See,
Yeah.
so their method to my madness.
hmm
So thank you so much. We appreciate you. Hold on for
Thank
just a minute. I
you.
want to thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jay Rodriguez. I don't have a next guest, so we're going to be surprised. We hope that you
I
walked away
love
inspired to create
surprises.
the difference you want to see in the world. Remember to share the love. See one, do one, teach one, lead one. You are not alone. Pinky's Powerhouse Posse grows with every new listener. Join our tribe. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe. So what I'm going to do is I want to say thank you, right here. Thank you, Jay.
Thank
I'm going to
you.
pronounce it correct. I want to that you are amazing to be a part of this. We love it that you are here, and thank you for sharing your story with us. Because honestly, to me, I got to speak to a role model, and I'm older than you. I'm 56 years old, and you're 46, or what 10 years
hmm
younger than me. And you've
Yeah.
had such an illustrious life that okay, just to show me as a role model what you can do, I can still take what you can do and I can turn it into what I can do, and I can still make something happen. So to
I
me,
love it.
that's
You're an inspiration
breath,
to so
breath and
many. So
inspiration.
you keep
So
doing what you're doing.
we
It's good
thank you
stuff.
so very much.
All right, honey.
I'm going to stop recording.
Yay. Thank you so much, love.